Welcome everyone. Bernie Floresca here and Nick from Career Services with Neil, Wasim, and Nandish so far as the follow-up meeting to the launch of the Business Relations Strategist meeting. This meeting is intended, it's going to be recorded every week, but it's intended to be a workshop of the issues that you run into as you're reaching out to companies for the 2023 Spring Career Fair. However, we realize that it's finals week, so we just had a conversation with Neil. He was saying that, you know, you guys are really all catching up right now. So it was just to kind of like go over the information, get us all on the same page. The other thing that we're dealing with is some of the business relations strategists have been doing some of this business relations work already in previous workshops. So part of the task is to kind of like get everybody on the same page so that we're having everybody move on the same sheet. Did you have anything to say to that, Nick, before I go into the email so we're on the same page?
No, I think we're all on the same page. We can move forward.
Cool. And then stand by, Neil. You're going to bring up what you had earlier about a question, but let me share the screen and just go to the email. So this was, you guys are seeing this okay, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
yeah. So for today, we kind of like gave you easy tasks because we realized it was finals week. The first thing that I had recommended for folks was in the email list, you kind of like know who is all on this team. So part of the practice was really to get to connect to all these people on this team, the other business relations strategists. And I invited you to practice as well in that when you connect with people on LinkedIn, practice with the connect messages by applying some of the strategies that some of you already know. So going to that email, the second part was I was requesting, we wanted to get a feel so that we understood whether you guys understood what the task was. So part of the homework was asking you in your own words to summarize what you thought we were up to with this business relations strategies team that was focused on the spring 2023 career fair, okay? Like I said, I realize you guys are in finals. For you guys who have done with it, I'd appreciate hearing from you guys, either an email back or message me directly on LinkedIn, and we will take it from there. The third piece, number 3, what you're seeing out there, was to strategically identify prospective contacts. And I gave you a link to a LinkedIn post, and I also gave you a second link where I say use. I'm just going to click it right now so people listening to the recording know what it is. It's actually just a spreadsheet, and some of you guys are already probably using this. You tailor it to how you want this. I gave you an example of the name of the contact and then their LinkedIn profile. And then this third piece just made it free form. Make this work for you for however it is that you need. And the example that you're seeing out there, this was kind of like from my background as a salesperson. I like to put the date and I like to give me some sort of code because this is just going to be for me, some sort of code so that I knew what it was that I did the last time so that when I go back to them again, I kind of like know where to pick up from, especially when we get into the nuances of, you know, staying top of mind, because these are all strategies. Actually, the 3 of you know of this because you participated in previous business relations workshops. So questions about what I've covered so far? Otherwise, I am going to click on what, well, actually, Nick, no questions? Nick, I'm going to let you share your screen if you wish, so you can cover some of the materials that you shared. Meanwhile, while we're waiting for Nick to bring that up on the screen, did you have any general questions about Nick's quick share? Because Nick had to run from our launch meeting and we didn't really have opportunity to ask him questions directly. Plus he sent the material afterwards. So floor is open. Neil, Wasim, and Nandish.
From my side, I don't think I have anything to ask for now, but I'll definitely work on this from now till the weekend. And if I have anything, I'll get back to you via mail.
Great.
Okay.
So like I had a couple of questions. So when we approach someone, like as Bernie mentioned, like a business relation kind of thing, like when we are emailing someone, like because I have had previous experiences, we have seen the messages get replied and messages won't get replied, like few of them, like kind of thing. So like the strategy you are following. So like what are you expecting from the person who is like replying, like kind of like coming to the career fair, bringing their organization, or like just letting us know that like they have some kind of opportunities, or like how we do have to like approach them, kind of build a relationship.
Very good question, Wasim. And actually, that's part of what I was thinking of covering today. To some of you guys who have been following some of the workshops that we're doing, we called it job strategy. We've called it business relations. None of this is really new. The only different thing that we're doing right now is the reason as to why we're reaching out to these professionals. Okay. Now we have the quote unquote excuse of talking to them about Illinois Tech's 2023 Spring Career Fair. So to answer your question directly, Wasim, and that's actually partially why I sent you that email this morning. It's a video of the very first strategy workshop that covers how is it that you connect with them. So to answer your question directly, you guys aren't going to start with 2023 Spring Career Fair. It's going to go back to the guidelines of the messaging messaging. I like to call them design principles. Number one, is your message short? Number two, is what you're saying designed to elicit a response, and that you are actually laying the groundwork of a conversation. In this context, the conversation is going to be about Spring 2023 Career Fair. That's why I love this initiative, because it's brilliant. Now you don't have to be talking about what do I say next, because you feel like you're going to be asking them about some job at their company. The beauty of what we're doing right now is you're actually talking to them about 2023 Spring Career Fair. So again, I repeat, is your opening short? Number two, is it designed to lay the groundwork for a conversation to occur? And number three, do not make your initial message about you requesting something. So I love that you asked that question, Wasim, because everything that's been taught so far about job search strategy, about business relations, nothing has changed except for the fact that we have yet another reason to reach out to these people who could be possible advocates in your future job search, or even for job searches right now. But the nice thing is you're not asking them, hey, can you help me find a job? Did I answer your question, Wasim?
Yeah, sounds good for me. Yeah.
Perfect. Nick, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, just to bounce off what you were saying, like Bernie had said, you don't go directly to promoting the career fair, right? You want to make it a conversational piece. And again, I mean, this is more, as much as I'm thankful and appreciative that I have you business relations strategists here with me, it's really to help you. It's really to help you gain that personal connection, whether they come to the career fair or not, right? That you have that connection and you have that conversation that started a while ago and can build onto something bigger and better. So as much as I am appreciative of you helping with the career fair stuff, make this personalized to you in your personal situation. And like Bernie said, don't kind of go directly into what jobs do you have, or what can you do for me, or things like that. Make it a conversation. Talk a little bit about the company, the organization, the mission, the vision, kind of tie that stuff in. Talk a little bit about Illinois Tech too, right? And what's going on here and all the exciting things that we have going on. Bernie had mentioned earlier, we have made a flyer for what's called our bridge recruiting, which I will share with you all as well. This is just another way, another strategy, another idea to kind of let people know what we're doing here in ways that they could be on campus, meeting you in person, meeting your fellow classmates in person, things like that. So yeah, I mean, you just kind of keep working with that. And that's really what I wanted to add on to Bernie's comments. And additionally, I have these flyers for you guys. I have information. Please reach out to me if you have a question, or if you need help responding to, someone that has questions about the career fair or events on campus, things like that, because I'll be more than more than happy to help you kind of draft that message or chime in as well if need be.
Thank you, Dick. Wasim, any reactions to what we've said so far?
No, it sounds good. Like when we start like connecting with someone and like implementing, I think like we'll get the result, like what we have to do and how we have to go through the steps.
Yes. So I'm really, really glad that you asked that question, Wasim, because I would hate for students to come out the gate saying, hey, my name is Bernie Floresca. I'm a student at Illinois Tech. Hey, you want to come to our 2023 career fair? That's not what we're talking about. So this is an opportunity for you guys as well to apply what we've been talking about, make it about them, kind of like checking out their profile, et cetera, et cetera. I saw Nandish go unmute. Did you have any comment or question, Nandish?
So what we actually expect from us, so basically it's obviously making our career. So let's say we talk to some people from a company on LinkedIn, we connect to them, then we like talk about like what's your reason, like whatever that Nick said. And at the end, if we ask them about like if your company want to come to our career fair, so is that our end goal? I mean, is that your end goal?
The end goal for Bernie is to impart the knowledge to you guys. We're just giving you an excuse so that you get to practice business relations with these companies. But obviously, sure, it'd be great if we had companies come to the 2023 Spring Career Fair, because number one, you are the guys who are saying, you know, we don't have these companies at the career fair. So you get to identify and bring them on board. So it's two-pronged actually, but to what Nick said earlier, if they wind up not coming, the work that you did in starting and nurturing the business relationships eventually is not lost.
Yeah.
Did that answer your question, Nandish?
Got it. Yeah.
All right, I'll get Nick if he had anything to add to that.
Yeah, just think of the career fair as kind of like a sugar coat, right? Or something that you can add on, right? A nice little, what we call like a sweetener, right? It adds to the conversation, right? It's just there, it's available. It's another way that you could build up a conversation or add to a conversation, right? I've had instances where, you know, personally, I'm talking to them, or even some of my student staff here in career services, when they're talking to employers on the phone or through email, you know, it's an opportunity to say, you know, I see that you're interested in recruiting, or you have a number of these jobs opening. And I've been to the career fair, you know, throughout my time here, and I've had an awesome experience networking with companies, right? Here's some information on our career fair this spring, right? You can kind of pitch it that way. You could continue the conversation that way. And to bounce back off to Bernie's point, by no means does this mean that each of you need to bring me a company, right? That's not it.
Yeah.
It's about you building that relationship. I want you all to have good relationships and good connections, and essentially good experience, right? Because you're going to have to be doing this, whether you're looking for a job or whether you're in a job and you're trying to build relations. So just take that approach with it. And again, come, you know, I don't mind helping you out with this kind of stuff as well, whether it's career fair information or just kind of pitching that. So you just let me know.
Awesome. Thank you, Nick. The other thing I want to address in this recording is like, obviously not all of the strategists are on this call right now, but people communicate with me directly. One of the issues that people kind of brought was kind of along the lines of what Nandish was saying, is career services expecting you guys to kind of like quote unquote perform and bring these companies in. And we just addressed that. So the student, it's actually Marissa from biomedical engineering. She said, I'd certainly want to give my input into who these companies are, but you know, to like bring these companies, to make a long story short, I said, there's obviously career services tasks that need to be handled by the career services office, i.e. what are the details on having them sign the contracts, blah, blah, blah. We do not expect you guys to do that, okay? Because obviously that's why we have career services in place already to do that. All we're doing is you guys open the doors, and if you had somebody who was hot and then that you needed myself or actually Nick, because this is part of what Nick does with those companies, just contact Nick directly and say, hey, Nick, I kind of like got to the point where this company is interested, then you can like hand it off nicely to Nick, and Nick takes on the continuing processes from that point onward. So again, I repeat, we do not expect you to be doing the job that career services does. And again, to reiterate the point, we are giving you the opportunity to speak to these companies. And then when you're done, because you're busy students, you have so much on your plate, after you got the practice that you needed and they've gotten to the point where they will sign up for 2023 Career Fair, reach out to Nick and our staff. Nick, anything to add?
No, I think you've touched on everything. I think we've emphasized, I'm happy this is recorded so everyone kind of gets the message. But yeah, and just understand, just like your conversations, this is ongoing. This does not have an end date, right? So you want to make sure that you're able to kind of work with this and develop it over time. Okay. But yeah, that's really all I have in terms of follow-up and things like that. So.
Okay. Time check, we kind of like have a little over 15 minutes. Nick, did you want to spend some time on that January 17th flyer since I have you? I mean, Nick, I don't expect you to be on each and every one of these calls because they're really designed for the students who have issues with their messaging. And I'm going to cover that after you get a chance to share your January 17th.
Yeah, thanks, Bernie. So let me share, I'm going to share a flyer. Neil, Wasim, Nadish, how comfortable have you guys heard of bridge recruiting? Do you know what bridge recruiting is? Have you attended maybe a bridge recruiting session this fall?
I believe I have seen one, but I wasn't qualified for any of those. So I have just seen those. I don't know how it actually works or how is it.
Sure. Okay, this is the perfect time to go over it so you feel comfortable with it. So Career Services offers what's called bridge recruiting. And I'm going to pull the flyer up while I'm talking about it. It might be easier. Can you all see the bridge recruiting flyer?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So Career Services offers bridge recruiting to companies. Okay, so bridge recruiting, hence the name, is right here in the MTCC, right by the bridge, which we consider a hotspot during a prime time, right? 11 to 2. I know a lot of you guys come here, you're getting lunch, you're meeting with friends, you're maybe working with a group on a class project or things like that, but we find this as the central hub. And we give employers the ability to reserve one of those tables along the bridge. We specify 3 per day, Tuesday, Wednesdays, or Thursdays, all the way throughout the semester. We were a little bit behind in the fall with my new position and my new role here and with some of our team members being out. But, you know, starting in the spring, we're going full force with this. And from January 17th to April 27th, employers have the opportunity to do some bridge recruiting. Bridge recruiting is essentially where you set up a table, you have some informative sheets and information and some signage and marketing material about your company. And it gives students the opportunity, whether they're going to lunch, leaving lunch, just kind of hanging around, studying, to go visit some of those employers, okay? Some companies, especially if they're local or they're in the state of Illinois, really like this because they could come for a couple of hours, they could have lunch, they can meet with students just as a walk-by basis, and it's very kind of informal. You can introduce yourself. You know, if you have a resume or if you're interested in handing out a resume, you can. Otherwise, it's just a conversation about what's going on at that organization or company. You know, what kind of openings they have, just a little bit about their company. So it kind of starts a conversation and a good talking piece and also good follow-up from the student side. So we're having this and we're going to, you know, promote this. There's actually an email that's going to be going out tomorrow at around 10 o'clock through Handshake to all of our contacts, especially within the Chicagoland, Illinois area. And we're going to promote this. And this is just one other piece that you can talk about in terms of employers, you know, so for example, maybe the conversation isn't going really well in terms of interest in the career fair, but they're looking for something a little bit different or something smaller. Boom, you have this right here. This is a lot smaller, a lot more informal. Maybe it only takes a day rather than prepping for 2 days or a week out in advance, things like that. And it's really convenient for for companies and, employers. So I will share this with the team. I will add this to the other flyers, but I wanted you all to be aware of this as well. Just in case, maybe the conversation goes a different route, right? Or, the employer is asking for something a little bit different. You have the capability to kind of chime in with that stuff and let them know what we offer. So I thought I would share this. I can answer any questions people have about this. So yeah, please let me know.
Yeah, no, definitely this gives us another thing to talk about, and it will be good for us and for them too.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure you guys are familiar with it, have seen it, right? Sometimes you'll see some companies with their signage and stuff out on the bridge area. That's all bridge recruiting. And that's kind of based off of what we do. And, it's another way to get companies on campus. It's another way for you all to interact. And it's all through Handshake. If you sign up for a certain week, or if you sign up for every week, you get notified by our team here who's going to be on campus when and what days. And sometimes if the company provides more information beforehand, it's a good opportunity for you to, get in front of those companies and, start a conversation. So, and as business relations strategists, right, this is a good point for you guys to meet in person, right? Have the opportunity to go to their table, bring a friend, right? Do those kinds of things, whether you're interested in that company or not. So, just think about it as another revenue, another alternative way to have a conversation, to start a conversation with an organization.
Awesome. Thank you, Nick. Other questions for Nick about the bridge recruiting piece? No questions. All right. I'd like to take this opportunity to tell you guys, we're all starting from scratch. It just so happens that the three of you who are on this call right now happen to have had business relations workshops before, where you already did your outreach. For the people who are totally brand new, because we have some part of this team that is totally brand new, don't worry in that we're not expecting you that with all the information that Nick gave you, that there is no guidance. That's why I kind of called myself the head strategist. And that's why we're having these weekly calls, because we want to get into the weeds as to what you're saying exactly to these companies that you're reaching out to. So I'm going to bridge this a little with Wasim's question earlier. Are we going to be doing anything differently from what was taught before? The answer is no. And that's why we gave you the homework of like just making these initial connections. And actually, I'm going to share my screen for a second, just for the purposes of the people on the call. So you guys on this call right now, the recording, you already know what this is, but the reason I shared this in the original email, it's not opening up, is it? Well, okay, let me just go to the LinkedIn group. I am going to, this happened before, to the LinkedIn group. And this is showing you how to get to the index in the LinkedIn group. The index is scattered all over the place as a comment. And of course, it's not showing right now. So under hashtag, doing a control F, hashtag business relations. What we shared with you earlier, if you're totally brand new to what we're doing, you have all sorts of examples that you're seeing on the screen right now. We're teaching you how to reach out cold to these guys. I don't expect you, or we actually do not want you to make your first contact about, hey, 2023 Spring Career Fair. So you have all these examples as to what cold outreach is all about. We have practice with quote unquote friendly alumni or friendly managers or friendly staff. And then we have content about the messages that go back and forth once you've made the initial connection. And part of this section, actually, where we're talking about messaging is how do you strategically, hence, that's why you're called strategists, how do you strategically, after you've warmed up the person, to kind of like shift the conversation now to Spring 2023 Career Fair, okay? So like I said, that's the whole purpose of our weekly meetings, because as you're reaching out to these companies, we want to be singing off the same sheet. Like I said, the people on the call right now, they kind of understand what we're doing, or maybe not. I'm going to open it shortly for questions, but I went through that very specifically for the new business relations strategists. Any questions and comments?
Bernie, I do have to run. We have a client up front. I'm going to
Yeah.
just go take care of. So,
Thanks, Nick.
okay.
Thank you, sir. Questions about what I just said from Neil, Nandish, and Wasim, because I know you guys have been connecting with folks already. So did you have any specific questions since I covered the beginner part? Where are you at in your outreach, and what are your thoughts as to start making those connections? Actually, in general, what are you guys thinking right now? I haven't checked in at all. I have no clue what you guys are thinking.
A good point to start. I mean, that's a good topic to start a conversation. I mean, let's say if you don't want to ask for a job, you can just say like Illinois Tech is organizing a career fair, and maybe your company can join for that career fair. I mean, if the conversation is going nowhere, if there is a point for you, or there is a thing for you which you can put it in the message.
Absolutely. So that's good. So again, part of these weekly workshops are to talk about best practices for those transitions, because you're coming into the warming up the relationship, and then at some point you transition. Obviously, if you guys see the opportunity that it's an actual job and you don't even need to talk about the spring career fair, by all means, take advantage of the situation, because you never really know who it is that you'll run into when you do these outreaches. So there is no exact form, so to speak, because it's kind of like somebody playing a piece of music and then you're pretty much dancing to the music. You don't know what kind of music is going to show up. So that's also part of why I'm guiding you through each and every step of this way. Feel free to reach out to me via LinkedIn message saying, hey, this person said this. Hey, this person said that. Hey, these are the specifics of this situation. What do you think? Make sense?
Yes.
Nandish, I got you right. I answered your comment or question.
Yes.
All right. We got 7 minutes for Neil or Wasim if you have any other questions or comments.
No, I don't have anything as of now. So yesterday I have done with my finals. So as I mentioned, I'll be traveling to India. So I'm make sure
Yeah,
that
I'm excited for you. You're going to warmer weather. I'm jealous.
so I'll be starting by next week, like cold emailing to the recruiters and like checking with like the people of the, like I'll update you over the email and LinkedIn. Yeah.
Yes. If you got any questions, let me know. But what I'm doing is, if you notice, I'm kind of like going over repeat material, if you will, so that the beginners can catch up and catch up to you guys
So
with the
one more
work that you've
question I
already
had,
done.
like you, so like Illinois Tech is a big organization. So like when you reach out to some of the recruiter or some of the like anyone from the company, so their main concern will be he's a student in the Illinois Tech, or like a kind of a business relation strategy, like working with career services, or like in what way I am approaching, in what way I'm representing, it depends on to the other person, like who is connecting with me.
Right.
So
You're
regarding
absolutely right. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. There's because I have no idea who it is that you have on your list of who to reach out to. Some could be HR people, some could be hiring managers. So that's why each case is kind of different. And that's why I'm saying you guys aren't doing this cold.
Mm.
You have me as a resource every step of the way. Because I haven't necessarily given you parameters
Okay.
that we're kind of just doing this for spring career fair. We want it to be wide open so that if any opportunity presents itself to you guys, that you're kind of like not locked into a certain way, and then certainly talk to me directly about the situation. And then we handle it that way. We pull in Nick if we have to, or if it totally has nothing to do with Career Fair 2023, by all means, it has nothing to do with that as well.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you, Wasim. Others?
No, that's all.
We're good. So I want you guys to watch the email. Is email a good method of like joining everybody with the email, or do you guys have a preference as to where I'm sending a messages for our business relations strategists. Was the email good?
It was good. I
Yeah,
guess.
email works.
Okay, cool. I'll keep on doing the email. Stay tuned. And then I guess we will see you guys next Thursday, unless I hear from you earlier than that. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Appreciate your
See you.
time.
Thanks to
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.